Hello, and welcome to cEDH TV. Today, without Mons. And it's me, Pontus, here, for some reason. Today, I'm here with Memo to let him flex on us with his superior control knowledge from a recent small tournament.
All right. This was the first Swiss round in a small online tournament event. As you can see on the play was Ted playing the partner pairing of Roger Silas Turbonos. I was going second with the partner pairing of Timna Crom, more of a mid-range breach deck. Third was Zerop, also on Roger Silas Turbonos, and fourth was Pontus playing Timna Dargo Turbonos as well. So we had 3 turbo decks and 1 mid-range deck, and it was a great and very exciting game to play. That's why we want to showcase it today.
Yeah. Worth noting, by the way, is that Tad and me both kept 5s, and I'm pretty sure Zane kept a 6. So all turbo decks mulliganed semi-low. Not really low, but like low enough that you're kind of more all in on the line you get.
I think I kept my second 7 or my first 7.
Your first 7.
I kept my first 7, yeah.
Which is scary.
I felt like I had to, and we will see why.
So here we had a turn 1 Wheel of Misfortune, not even a real wheel, coming down. And usually for me, I tend to not counter wheels. Just because, like, the classic, if you counter the wheel, you don't have the counter for later. You have 2 turbo decks going after you, so they probably have something powerful as well. But you chose to counter the wheel, and how do you think about that?
Yeah, so this was already tough, but as said, I had a reason to keep the 7, and I kept the 7 also because of the Force of Will. I have to basically keep 3 turbo decks in check. I also did not really like forcing the wheel. It's a May wheel, so I could have just kept my hand. But going into this tournament, I decided that I will try to shut. So I was expecting a lot of turbo decks, and I just decided that I will shut down one of my opposing turbo decks as soon as possible, and then hopefully have enough interaction for the other 2. And the wheel was like the first decision point for me, and I decided to just force this. Hopefully set back Ted for a good while. He got rid of Rograk for that. He exiled the Simian Spirit Guide, so I felt like if Ted doesn't get a fresh 7, I don't have to worry about him for a while. And that's why I decided to force the wheel here.
Yeah, for sure. You pretty much killed Tad here. He was down to 1 card in hand and very low in resources in general.
It's risky though, because Force of Will is a catch-all counterspell, and Wheel of Fortune isn't like a win-con, quote-unquote. So I definitely didn't love the play. Usually I tend to agree with you, but in this case, I just decided that I want to send him back to the Stone Age and hopefully never having to worry about him again.
It's kind of like you're trying to like reduce the amount of threats possible. Like you can't interact with everyone, so you kill one person early, so you just have 2 people to keep track on later, I guess.
Yeah. Also, you're all breach decks, and I'm just like, I will never wheel, and I'm just scared that the other 2 players behind me are wheeling as well, and then the graveyards are already fueled. I have to be worried about multiple meme bets or like just a breach or a tutor for breach, and then I felt like I don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, makes sense. So here we have Zane going for turn 1 Diabolic Intent. No land, but still 3 mana represented next turn. What were your fears? What were your expectations going into this play?
So I was suspecting either Heuristic Study because he imprinted a meme bet, which I'm happy that it's gone, but this is representing still a turn to Heuristic Study, which I'm really not too fond of. But on the other hand, there's nothing really I can do about it. I'm happy that I got to drop my Esper Sentinel because I hope this will draw me a bunch of cards and then hopefully find interaction or like a counter spell for either the Heuristic or the Mystic Remora that I'm suspecting. There's also a world where he just finds the Norse, but him getting rid of Rograk for the Diabolic Intent, usually the Norse, they use like Phyrexian Tower or like something like Culling the Weak to pump out the Norse. So seeing Roger go was definitely something I was happy to see. I was just hoping that my Esper would give me some live draws to deal with it later.
In my mind here, I would kind of be, maybe not expecting a Dockside, but Dockside would be on my radar as well. Knowing Tad is that out of the game makes it less likely, but you still have 2 Docks, you still have a Dockside count of 2, and my turn hasn't happened yet. So I
Yeah,
think
that's fair.
it could just be sandbagging a land, which you never know. It's actually kind of
yeah.
smart to sandbag lands if you do like these kind of plays early,
Mhm.
because like no one will counter Diabolic Intent that they can't play Dockside
Yeah.
next turn. But if you have a red land, maybe they consider it.
I mean, there's a reason. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the lands item and diamond, but I'm like, I don't know if Zane opens up with a Mystic Remora. I felt like I don't want to give him any card. You might open with an Esper Sentinel. There might be another wheel coming in, and I just felt like I'm gonna drop this LED. I might be able to. Don't give you draws. I'm risking to up the Dockside count for 1, but I felt like in this scenario, I'll have to be a little more aggressive to gain every advantage I can, because I think it's very tough matchup for me.
Yeah, for sure. So we're 2 turns in, and we have 3 things to talk about. Here you chose to just cast your commander, even though you could cast either of them. Cracking LED for Crom, which probably isn't worth it, but you didn't cast the Tymna with an attacker on board. How were you thinking?
So I already had a pretty good draw engine with Esper Sentinel. I drew off of Xerop's turn, I drew off of your Arcane Signet, and also I had stuff in my hand I really wanted to cast later. One of them, spoiler alert, is a Mystical Tutor. So I felt like worst case scenario, I might have to use my Mystical Tutor in response to my Esper Sentinel trigger to find a counter spell. So I really did not feel comfortable tapping out for Tymna after Xerop tutored for something. So I felt like if it's a Rhystic Study, he didn't play a land, right? So if he taps out for Rhystic Study, I could always Mystical Tutor for a Red Blast in response to my Esper trigger, draw and cast the Red Blast, or let it happen and rely on the other things in my hand, which were like instant speed stuff. So I felt like this is a Tymna is not needed. Also, if you have mana up, sometimes you scare the people to go for it. This is op agent mana. Or like it's representing interaction, and maybe this will lead to people not going for aggressive plays.
This is also you kind of signaling, maybe not signaling to the table, but just like making a hard stance that you're playing for a long game, not trying to develop early and develop for a win.
Yeah.
This is you just positioning yourself for the longer game, I think.
Exactly.
Here you got to mental misstep a fish, which is always a nice thing to do. Did you feel safe in that the fish would have been the target for the Diabolic Intent, or how did your thoughts go?
Yeah, so I thought about Rhystic Study, but I think fish is just honestly the better tutor target, because Roxai doesn't play a whole lot of creatures. I don't think Tymna Dargo is like on 20 creatures. I think you're also like on 10 maximum.
I think it's like 16.
16, okay. So also not like a whole lot. So I think the fish was a very good tutor target. I was very happy to see it because I had the mental misstep for it, and I misstepped that because, like I already said, I really tried to have good trades, and now I am pretty sure he tutored for the Mystic Remora, and me getting to counter that is like very good, because now in theory, this is another player I don't have to worry about because I just had a very good spell versus them, and it's just a good tempo play, and now I can hopefully turn my attention onto you to have a little bit of breathing room, because maybe I'm not the one who's feeding the Remora a lot, but the other 2 decks will most certainly do so. So that's why I did not hesitate to counter the Mystic Remora here.
It's also kind of amazing that, assuming that this was the tutor target, your misstep is a 5-for-1.
True.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, didn't even think about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
So now you decided to start stopping me as well, which I don't appreciate.
Now you can see also why I didn't cast Tymna. I had the Bowmasters, obviously I flash. I was praying on a wheel, so that was also... And it was very unlikely that Xerop tutored for a wheel, but not like impossible. But I don't think he's interested in Ted getting an fresh 7 as well. But I still felt like maybe you're gonna wheel, or you will cast Tymna. Also, I saw the Hope of Girup and was like, if he swings at me and tries to silences me and goes for the win in the second main phase, I will have no interaction to interact with Pontus, and that's why I decided to not cast Tymna and keep the Bowmasters up as well. I think there's a little inaccuracy. I think I'm supposed to flash it in response to Tymna and not before damage, in case you have a deflecting sword.
Yeah, for sure.
That could have been a huge blowout to kill my Bowmasters or my Esper Sentinel and get the card draw as well. But luckily, you didn't have a SWAT there.
No, my hand was basically just mana into like a turn 3 half protected with the Hope of Girper Ergi win. And I was kind of like hoping to develop an early Tubna to like draw into the extra mana I needed, and you stopped those plans.
Maybe there's an argument where I completely disrespect you and kill one of the Rogers here, because both of them got recast and they will cost 4 the next time. But I don't think that's a risk I'm willing to take. I think I'll have to like it. Also, like respect you sacrificing the hope to delay my next turn, which I wasn't really looking forward to.
Sacrificing hope isn't actually that bad for you. I lose your control aspects in the game, like both Zane and Tad are free to go. I'm not that afraid of Tad in this position. I'm kind of still respecting Zane a bit, at least.
Yeah.
And you just cast Humna and aren't that set back by it. So I'm not sure if I would ever do that, to be honest.
True. That's fair. That's fair, I guess.
And also I'm like tapped out, so I don't think you're that afraid of me silencing in general. But I still see the point of like being extra safe, and like just killing it for value is a good play to begin with.
Yeah, and then denying you the card draw, right? On the other hand, you will draw. I get to kill the Hope after you draw, or kill the other Roger as well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to give you that one draw and get rid of both Rogers. It's tough to say, but I felt like I interacted with the 2 of them already, and I haven't interacted with you. So I just felt like this is like another, something to annoy you a little bit at least.
Yeah, it's just
slow you down.
It's just you building up tempo over time. Like you keep like tripping us while we try to set up.
Yeah.
Which gives you even more time to like get more set up than us, which is a good strategy. Like just riding that Esper is a good line. Maybe we could have played a bit more like respecting the Esper here. But I actually don't really think we were playing incorrectly playing into Esper. Like you weren't drawing that many cards, but like 1-2 extra per turn is still 1-2 extra per turn.
Yeah.
While having good answers as well.
Okay, so Ted had an insane good top deck, either the Ring or the City of Traitors. Casted the Ring. I could have responded to my Esper Sentinel trigger here by Mystical Tutoring for like a Force of Negation. I'm not sure if I had another blue card in hand. Getting rid of the Ring, but I felt like the Ring is scary here. He gets protection. He also, the longer the Ring sticks around, he just gets back into the game. But I sat on my Underworld Bridge in this Mystical Tutor. I already had the LED in play, and I just felt like this is the perfect window to go for my own win, because I can only hold the other turbo deck down for so long, right? I don't want this game ideally to not go to like turn 7, 8, 9, because it's so hard for me, even with Esper Sentinel and Bowmasters or Tymna. It's very, very tough to catch on. So I felt like I have to present a win at some point, and that's why I decided to just let the Ring resolve, tutor for a Brain Freeze here in the end step, and just shove my win.
Yeah, and it looks to be pretty free. Zane has like 3-4 cards in hand. But it looks like he can't.
Zane would have protected his fish if he would have had a Fierce, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Ted is Hellbent, if I remember. No, he has 1 card in hand. Okay, one card in hand, and you could sit on a Fierce. So that's like the only thing I'm afraid of. No, not a Fierce. Sorry, a SWAT, which doesn't do anything, or not enough with a Brain Freeze combo, right?
Depends on how you play the Brain Freeze, but very rarely it matters.
Yeah, that's not what I'm scared of. So I'm basically, there's probably only 1 or 2 spells I'm afraid of here. That's why I just opted to shove my win attempt.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I would also shove here every time, to be fair. Here we have a pretty interesting thing happen. Zane cast a Pact without the mana to pay for it, which is a big no-no according to some people. I think both of us are a big fan of just cast your spells.
Exactly.
And in this specific scenario, it feels like you're just controlling everything. So it kind of feels like you probably have protection for whatever for this breach. Yep. So I completely understand Zane Pacting here. I probably would have done the same.
Yeah, me too. Also, this is a tournament, and you get 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss. I have all the cards I need. I have LED, Underworld Bridge, and Brain Freeze. If this resolves, I will win the game on the spot. Zero will get 0 points. If he pacts the breach, and even if he loses, because he can't pay for pact, he prolongs the game, and this way it's more likely to become a draw. This is also something he wants, because he wants to get at least 1 point, right? Ideally 5 points.
Yeah.
But in tournaments, there are, in my opinion, there are no such things as like king making or spite plays. You have to play to your out, and yeah, that's why I think the tech is super valid.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing to note, I think I forgot my Orcish Bowmaster trigger here. Responds to Ted drawing off of ring. I think this is one of the, I think I missed 1 or 2 triggers this whole game, but this was definitely one that's very crucial. I could have killed one of the Rogers, probably Zerops Roger here, because those decks play like ritual effects, like Culling Ritual, we touched on that. It's just important to keep track of your triggers and don't miss the free value. Okay, so Zerop had the Adnos in hand with Pact backup, opted to go for the fish 1 turn earlier. We talked about it, and he said he was just suspecting some interaction from me and just wasn't comfortable in resolving the Norse, and because he just felt like I had at least maybe 2 pieces of interaction. Stop him there. That's why he went for the fish. Yeah, so also he's trying to win on top of his Pact of Negation trigger here, but this is not working out. Making double blue with 0 mana at instant speed is close to impossible. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pontus.
You just need 1 blue with Born Upon a Wind, though.
True,
true. But 1 blue plus an extra, which is, I think just making
is a card.
Yes,
but
not legal in Grixis and not played in the other colors anyways. I actually think making blue instant speed is impossible without resolving Born Upon Wind or having the Shimmer Mirror effects. I'm not sure.
So unless somebody knows a card, comment below. We are curious if there is something we are missing here, but yeah, Zane will die to a spec trigger.
Yeah, and it's better to cast an also and see if you find anything. Like
100%.
Yeah. You're not sure, just cast it and see if you find anything. And if you win, it's great. If you don't win, you didn't lose anything. You still lost.
Exactly. Also, this takes time off the clock. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Gets you closer to the draw. If you take game actions, take your game actions. You wanna win the tournament, right? That's what you're here for. And take your game actions if you can.
Casting a Grand Abolisher into a 1 ring, which will go to 2, and a Bowmasters. Doesn't seem like the brightest moment in my cEDH career, but I actually had a reason. So what I had was basically I had Diabolic Intent Bergi in my hand, and I just needed the mana to get to Bergi plus Diabolic Intent in 1 turn, which I also need a creature for. So I kind of need my Tymna to survive to be able to draw me into more mana, as well as having the extra body. So sacking a Grand Abolisher just straight up doesn't feel that good, but I was kind of forced into the situation given what I had available to me.
Yeah, I like that play. If you don't cast Grand Abolisher here, I will most likely kill the Tymna, because it's the only creature in play when he taps the ring. That's at least what I'm assuming. And if you cast Grand Abolisher here, I have to kill the Grand Abolisher, right? And then you will get at least another draw. And you're low on cards and low on game actions you can take. So I think it looks weird, but I think the more you think about it, it's a decent play.
Thank you.
Okay, so I drew the Sevines and I just went for the win again. Sevines resolved, I got Breach back, and what I did then, I did what every Breach player is supposed to do after cracking the LED. 9 out of 10 times you're supposed to escape the LED in case something happens to your Breach, like removal spell, Boseiju or whatever, that you then have another LED in play, which gives you more mana to maybe flashback this. In this case, the other 10% hit me hard because LED was my 2nd spell and the Brain Freeze was my 3rd spell, which enabled the Mindbreak Trap of Ted. He used it to exile my Brain Freeze, which was a huge blowout here. Yeah, I didn't play around Mindbreak Trap. If I don't escape the LED here and play the Brain Freeze first, I get to mill like 6 cards or 9 cards. And if I escape the LED, then maybe I have protection to counter the Mindbreak Trap, or I hit another fast mana, right? Like if he tries the MBT on the LED, maybe I mill the Lotus Petal. But very unfortunate that the one time I sequenced it, when I did it, I sequenced it right, it backfired horribly. So that was definitely a huge blowout and a huge tempo loss, because the ring is starting to put in work and I really have to close out the game soon if I want to win.
So here was my turn to try to push into obvious interaction, right? Memos had drawn 3 cards, which obviously means he has protection. No, but I felt very safe jamming here. But sadly, Memo got to draw one of like 4 possible cards that stops me in 3 cards, and that sucks for me. But
yeah, I was very lucky. I got stuff and cracked my I was hellbent. Used my last mana to custom, I drew 2 cards, and then one card off of Esper, and I luckily drew into Fierce here to prevent the win attempt. But I think this was the best window for you, and I was just very, very, very lucky to find the Fierce here to stop your win attempt.
Yeah, I felt very sure in that you were the only one who could have drawn into interaction. And as soon as my Diabolic Intent resolved, I was like, it's just fears or forces. One force is gone, so it's just force negation.
Yeah.
And then he has to draw force negation plus a blue card.
Exactly.
So it's like...
I think if Ted has something, like a Swan Song, I think he would have used it on my Breach, honestly, and kept the Mindbreak Trap for your Storm turn, right? Yeah, because it's probably also answers Technomancer and shit. So I think you're safe to say that I'm the only one who could have drawn something.
Yeah. But I got stuffed, so...
Sorry, Pontus.
Yeah, let's see how the game continues. So here me and Memo came to an understanding that Tad is most likely just winning if they get to untap with the One Ring and Unfold with all that mana. So Memo made the great sacrifice to draw 1 less card of Tuna to hit him with Grom, and I just full swinged because I didn't have anything else to do. And I think this was correct. I think this is kind of what we had to do, right?
I agree. Do you remember when I was complaining about me missing a Orcish Bowmaster trigger off of the very first ring activation? If I wouldn't have missed it, then the army would have been at 9 power and Ted would have died after you swung at him. So every trigger counts. Be aware of your triggers, and that's a prime example why it's so important. Every damage counts as well. If you can swing in with an Esper Sentinel or even a Trustios, do it, because you never know how the games play out. Yeah, we made a deal to try and kill Ted, or at least put him to 1, so he would need to find an instant speed win on top of his ring, which is not that easy. Hopefully gives us the best chance of surviving his last turn.
Notably, we did both have a defense grid protected turn because Tad cast defense grid in past. But as Tad correctly assessed, we didn't really have the gas to exploit it at all, so it didn't really matter. I couldn't have done anything with the protection, so
me neither. I'm still set back. I'm honestly, I think I'm on the beatdown plan at some point, because I have the army now. I have Chrome, and my Brain Freeze is gone, so I have to find either an Oracle win down the line or just swing. Because even meme bet isn't that great anymore. One of my opponents dead, the other one is either winning or dying right now. So yeah, it's just the combat got more important by every turn. All right, Ted got one last huge turn. He had a hand effect. He found the Born Upon a Wind, which wasn't even that far. I think, we talked about it after the game, there was probably a line with Jessica's Will, but very complicated, not easy to see. Yeah, he didn't find the line, and we started off our 1v1 here.
Yeah, also it's worth mentioning that even if there was a line, he was very unlucky in his flips. Those flips could have been way better. Flipping this bad is kinda sad for him. I'm happy because I survived, but it isn't for long, as you might see.
Yeah, very, very unlucky flips, for sure.
So from here, my chances doesn't look all that great. I have 1 card in hand, I have 3 mana. Memo's board is kind of overwhelming. I have a Dargo, so if I can get 3 hits through, I kill him. But he has an army that just outscales Dargo, and yeah, I need to be very lucky to ever get out of this. And spoiler alert, I don't. This ends with Memo just killing me with beats.
Yeah, exactly. 2 rock size down. I'm happy about that. And now I just played to not lose, like more than ever before. I don't think I'm looking out for like win attempts. I'm happy that the defense grid is finally gone. I deployed my own Grand Abolisher just to have a blocker or another attacker, honestly. And I'm just hoping to kill every draw that brings Pontus back into the game. And just to be sure that I get to kill him probably via combat, because he would need like several kill spells or a board wipe. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, so I would say overall, you were pretty lucky this game.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
You had 3 times that you should have lost if everything was played perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah, but like honestly, I don't know if that's how you're supposed to play Control, quote unquote, but stopping the first threatening play from one of the turbo decks. But for me, on this tournament, it worked out pretty well. I felt good to just try and focus on 2 opponents after stopping 1. But yeah, definitely that the Norse that didn't get shoved their turn 2, or that had drew the fears just in time, the bad flips off of the Hanfra, definitely. Sometimes you're lucky, right? But I think I worked pretty hard for my win, so I'll take it.
Yeah, you definitely did. You I would say most of your interaction points were perfect or close to perfect. Like that, just doing that is like really impressive. It's like hard to accomplish that in general.
Yeah.
So it was a great game for you.
Yeah. I'm also very happy with my performance. Like a couple of inaccuracies. I missed 1 Chrome trigger. I missed the Bowmaster trigger. I think Bowmasters came in a little late. I should have probably responded to Timna. But besides that, I'm very happy with my overall decision making here.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was a very interactive game, like in general. Like even though one player got completely screwed early, yeah, you just control the table, showing that blue farm is.
It's possible.
Yeah.
If the stars align, you can even win a game.
If the stars align, you can win a game. That sounds great.
Spoiler alert, it hasn't happened since then.
Oh no. You need more rock size in your pods.
Yeah, it's definitely tough versus double or triple turbo. It's definitely tough to play mid range.
Yeah, but that's kind of why you had to play this way, where you actively go out of your way to control every aspect of the game.
And just to stress it, like MVP of this game was Esper Sentinel, 100%.
Yeah,
if you're gonna try to interact with 3 people who will draw 3 cards whenever you draw 1 card, you better make sure that you have some kind of draw engine that keeps you in the game and refuels your hand, because otherwise it's very unlikely that you have the answers when you need them.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this overall was a great game, a great showcase of how to keep 3 throw players down. I appreciate you for coming onto the channel. I appreciate Mons
thank you so much.
Letting me do this, even though he doesn't know I'm doing it right now. But if you like this video, please leave the like, leave a comment if you think Memo should have lost, or if you did everything correctly. And yeah, see you in the next gameplay episode, because I'm probably not gonna return here. Bye-bye.
Bye.